What if I told you that in the near future, in order to pay for something through your bank, small, tiny airborne particles will swarm around you to read your biometric data in order to authenticate that payment? People are going to say this is a conspiracy theory, but here's the United States patent filed by Wells Fargo in 2022, and this invention is called smart dust. Here's the summary from the filed patent. You can read this for yourself, but smart dust is a system of small micro-electromechanical systems devices that can have sensors that collect data and transfer it to a base station device. These devices are small enough that they can be suspended in the air, and they can do facial recognition, get your height, your weight, your blood pressure, your eyes. They take that information, go back to the user profile, make sure it's you, and then they authenticate the payment. And less than a week ago, Trump signed an executive order that will require Americans to release their biometric data or lose their bank accounts. Of course, they will tell you that this is all for your security. Smart dust was originally a military concept. Now it's going to be used as your wallet. What could go wrong? Well, this technology is insane because sure, it can be used to authenticate your payment, but it could also be used to surveil every single person in the world without them even knowing. I know Trump said no to central bank digital currencies, but don't you think that smart dust is worse?
Now, I reported on this when it happened. I think it was in the middle of another video, but I wanted to get back to it because there's a lot going on, and this ties into the end times. And what I have been telling you about the mark of the beast, it all ties together. Look at this. It says, this gives the U.S. government facial biometric ID of every single person with a bank account. So they can track your every movement, everywhere you go, everyone you meet, going straight to Donald Trump, Peter Thiel, and who knows who else. But this is it. Like, guys, Trump executive order will force Americans to surrender biometric data or lose their bank accounts. Now, I told you that this was coming with digital ID and all of that. But in other countries, governments are already confiscating bank accounts for people who did not comply with digital ID. In Vietnam, I believe it's Vietnam or Singapore. I got to get that correct, but there's a bunch of different countries. But over 90 million bank accounts were confiscated by the government, 90 million, because people didn't comply with digital ID. Is this not wild? But I got more for you on it.
Well, this will blow your mind. Wells Fargo will soon be authenticating your payments through a microscopic airborne surveillance. I repeat, surveillance. Will other banks be joining Wells Fargo to do the same? And no, it's not a conspiracy because they've already put a patent out for it. Here is Wells Fargo's patent for it. And this payment authentication system is called smart dust. So basically, there's going to be these tiny little microscopic sensors when you're going in to make a transaction. Here's a visual from the patent documents, and they're going to be released around your body during the time of the transaction. I know, it sounds like sci-fi. And it uses your heart rate, body temperature, blood pressure, breathing patterns, facial recognition, voice signatures, and motion profiles to authenticate payments. And it's being reported that this is for our safety. And if there isn't a 95% biometrics match through all of these via your heart rate, body temperature, etc., then you don't get to buy. The transaction doesn't go through. And our president has put out an executive order that will force Americans to surrender biometric data or lose their bank account, allegedly. So the surveillance isn't personally for us, but for the safety of our transactions. There's the patent number up there if you want to look it up yourself. Everything I've said in this video is alleged, in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only.
Now, I want to get back to that and give you more details, but we've got to see the bigger picture, and this won't be everything. But this is something that I reported on when it happened. I believe this was November or December. But it says President Trump recently ordered the acceleration of 6G deployment with a stated goal to operate implantable technologies. I think I said implantable. Well, same thing. Implantable technologies. This will include AI brain chips known as the Biological Interface System to Cortex, or BISC. I will not take the 6G AI brain chip to participate in society. Well, that's coming during the tribulation. This is what they're doing. And now the smart dust. But yeah, he signed an executive order regarding this. Let me see if I can make it smaller here for you so we can play this. But guys, it's happening. It's happening. It's been happening, but it was always supposed to be like this. I cannot get this small enough on the screen. Let's try this. There we go. Yeah, that's about as good as I can get it. Let me play. I don't even know if they're saying much.
So we're into 6G now. I just it's 5G. I was a leader on 5G getting that done, and now they're up to 6.
Let's do it again.
What does that do? Give you a little bit deeper view into somebody's skin? See how perfect it is?
And he even said during this time, this press conference, because I covered it, was that, 6G can see through walls, that they can actually change DNA through through light and sound and emitting waves. That's what's happening. But guys, when I told you there's layers to it and they've made it so it's a snare that we really can't come out of. Let's now make this bigger for here. When a lot of people think brain chips or Neuralink is the mark of the beast. It just doesn't fit. Is it part of the control mechanism of the beast system? Is that man's planned? Because they're seeing themselves living forever and far off in the future. But we already know it's a shutdown. God is not going to let them go too far. We are in the last days. The signs are all around. But I happened to come across one day because it never made sense. People already are resistant to the brain chip. Same thing with Trump being the Antichrist. Could he be? I don't know. It doesn't have any effect on my life, right? But it just doesn't make sense. It's too on the nose. Like, it's just, we can see all of this. And then all the media saying it, and then counter opposition, controlled opposition, all saying it. Whenever I see that, I'm like, okay, this is a push for something. This is a push for that belief. It's just too on the nose. You mean Satan is not more clever than that, right? But this is something that people don't know about. And I actually am so thankful I came across it, because when it talks about the mark of the beast, you have to understand that they are the layers of it. They are not going to have something all out there so everyone can reject it right away. They need people when the time comes to want this. When I came across this, it was just right in my spirit. I just felt like this was the mark of the beast. Now, is it going to be this precise thing? No, but this is the technology I believe that it will be. It's subtle, it fits, it can go on the hand or the forehead, on the skin. It can be mass rolled out versus a surgery for Neuralink. They plan that, right? They're ramping up production because now they're using robots to implant Neuralink. But again, that's after mass depopulation, and they can actually, get this in people so that everyone will have what Elon Musk calls collective consciousness. So it is part of the beast system. But the mark of the beast, again, it is something you have to purposely choose to do. You will know it is tied to the Antichrist. You have to choose to worship him and proclaim him God. So it is not something they can trick you into. Digital ID is not the mark of the beast. You have to make a purposeful decision to choose the Antichrist, to choose Satan, and not choose God. It will be very deceptive and sound good and look good and all of that. It's going to seem like a savior. It's not going to seem evil. That's the point. It's going to be necessary, because no man will be able to buy and sell lest he bear the mark. Also, with Bill Gates and digital ID, said that nobody will be able to function in society by 2028 if they don't have a digital ID. And now we're seeing what's happening with the banks and confiscating your bank account. It is rolling out as we speak.
New Gates-funded microneedle patch implant installs both mRNA and quantum dot markings into the body. Well, that is as dark as you can get.
Yeah, this is very, very worrisome. And I do believe that this is actually going to be the next mRNA platform, vaccine platform that they try and roll out at a wide scale. So first in 2019, Gates funded a study for the original development of these quantum dot implants. So it's a microneedle patch array. So it's got a bunch of mini needles. It's like a Band-Aid. You put it on your wrist, it dissolves, and it installs these quantum dot materials that last for at least 5 years. So they developed that in 2019. Now in 2025, Gates funded another study that shows just how advanced now this technology has become. It is advancing at a very fast pace. Now these microneedle patches can install literal quantum dot QR codes. QR codes that can be read with AI with specialized cameras and decoded to store batch information, lot number, how many doses you received. There you go. They put it on the pig. That's what it looks like. It's a literal QR code. You will be marked. This lasts again for years, perhaps permanently. And this will be used as a biological vaccine passport system where you won't use your phone. You won't use the QR code on your phone to enter the store and travel. You will use your wrist where this material is embedded in your body. And so this is very dangerous. And this even earned a spot at the 2025 Global Vaccine Forum, where they had their own session on these microneedle patch implants. So this is planned for wide-scale deployment for another pandemic.
Now, I want you to keep all that you heard in mind about this smart patch and now the smart dust and get some more details. And all of a sudden, this executive order being signed, right, for the biometric ID specifically with banks. They said they're not going to do CBDCs. Of course they are. Of course they are. If they say they're not going to do it, well, we know. The promises will not be kept. But it's always been like this. Every administration, everything has been a lie. Because it all has to lead to a point. And they just had to give us the illusion of freedom and choice and liberty. And, oh, now one of Dr. Fauci's people are, getting indicted and all. Is any of this going to go anywhere? Is any of it? You have to be honest with yourself and you have to see the writing is on the wall. Technology we didn't even know about or we were not thinking about. Well, it's already existing and it's getting better every single day. But if you're going to tell me that this smart dust, the patch, and what Trump is doing with the banks now, and biometric ID and digital ID and all, this is why they need the data centers, which is what we've been saying from the beginning.
Wells Fargo has a patent on the smart dust. And I read it, so you don't have to. That's you. That's your phone. That's the smart dust. From here on out, you shall be known as 202. But first, how is 5G connected to smart dust? 5G is literally how they are going to collect data from smart dust in real time. It will allow them to collect large volumes of data simultaneously. Challenges and concerns? Just privacy issues. So as you know from the previous video, there are a lot of uses for smart dust. So how would Wells Fargo use smart dust? Well, they're going to make sure 202 isn't 203. How are they going to do that? By performing facial and body recognition. So 202 is attempting to initiate a payment using a mobile device. The base station can send instructions to activate Smart Dust device 210 to authenticate user 202. The motes that make up Smart Dust can be suspended in the air and surround or be near user 202 while collecting data. In some embodiments, the nodes can be self-propelled and able to move around. So they can control these things. Some motes may move passively on the wind or using Brownian motion. The motes may also be carried by a user and released when the user attempts to make a purchase using a mobile payment or a credit card payment. I mean, am I reading this correctly? They could be carried by the user and released when the user attempts to make a purchase, like they can just fly away? It will be performing facial and body recognition. The optical data can also be used to gather biometric data, as in the weight, your facial recognition, your fingerprint data. In conjunction with one or more sets of data from the other sensors, the audio data can be used to authenticate your voice, can be used to detect your heart rate, your blood pressure, and other biometric data. Also can detect your body temperature and your breathing rate. It can also measure magnetic fields and read any RFID tags that the user may carry. And then, of course, there's GPS data to see the location of the smart dust. From everything I've read, smart dust is definitely the future of smart cities. Here's the thing about smart dust is none of us would ever know. If it's on us, breathe it in, how would we know?
And before I play this next clip, I mean, there's no one stopping this. This is what the government wants. This is what the New World Order, the beast system. I never knew how all of it will come together, but now we can see it clear as day. There will be nowhere to hide. That's why the Bible says that you will have to find a cave to hide in during the tribulation, after Jesus returns on the clouds, harpazo, the rapture, and then the 7 years of tribulation. And then Jesus will be physically here on the earth for final judgment at the end. But during that 7 times, it's going to be the worst time humanity's ever known. The literal pits of hell. Satan will be unleashed. The restrainer, meaning things that actually keep anything good on earth, that's gone. You will find out what was in the Epstein files, because that will be happening and more. Literal Nephilim, demons, fallen angels. This is what alien disclosure is. Demons. They're saying they're breeding them underground in the military. This is what members of Congress are telling us. It's not too loud right now. People aren't paying as much attention to it, but they are saying it. And the disclosure has been coming. Since last year, they've done documentary on it. The movie coming out, Disclosure, all run by the CIA. If you don't know, we did a deep dive on who funded the movie, who put it together, all the pieces. Yeah, it all goes back to the same thing. They are getting ready. They are getting ready for the beast system to rise, for depopulation. This is what the war is about. The energy lockdown. You won't be able to afford anything. Like, this is what they want. But I'm not telling you this to be in fear. It's so you're aware and that you are not deceived. That was the first instruction Jesus gave the disciples when they asked, "Teacher, how will we know when this time is here?" The first thing he warns, do not be deceived. And it doesn't just mean by false teachers, false prophets, false doctrine, but by the government, by politicians, by the world. Do not be deceived. And that is the reason why we're talking about it. But we already know God has victory. This is man's plans. Okay? We have to still live our lives, and we are not going to live it in fear.
Are they going to be able to track you with that smart dust?
Well, it's the same way.
I don't want to comply. I'm not going to give you my retinal scan to go in and buy a glass of wine somewhere. I'm out. I'll see you later. I'll make it at my house.
Say you visit Starbucks. I'm not saying Starbucks is doing this for people that get crazy, but let's use them for an example. If Starbucks opted into a program to allow smart dust in their cups and some of their products, you could just go in there.
I didn't even think of that. Damn, and every time you give that author, and think about what you need to sign to be online anyway. Now they're going to move it over and inserting some smart dust into your beverages, into your food, into your choices, into the restaurant, into your hamburgers. Can't believe it.
It's basically the same science as, I don't know if you remember this, but back in the 90s, they had a revolutionary new science where they sprayed this chemical that had a specific...
Because it's not going to just stop with banks. Come on now. You know better. We're going to be ingesting this, breathing this. Have they studied the health implications of this? Of course not. Or even if they do, guys, it's like the vaccines, like COVID. Do you even trust it? And we have no control. There's no one advocating for us with this. It's a done deal. And there's layers upon layers upon layers. And a lot of times we don't know about these things, or they don't become a big story, really never a big enough story, until it's already passed or it's on the floor or legislation. Then there's a little bit of talk at the time, but it's too late by then. But this is what everything has been moving towards in every administration since the founding of the country and even before. They don't teach us true history. Most people don't know about Tartaria. They tell us NASA, not a space agency, is going to outer space, that there is no firmament, that the Bible is lying, that we're spinning through space, that the earth is not fixed and immovable, and that the firmament isn't impenetrable. That's crazy talk. That's tinfoil. That's a flat earther. No, it's biblical earth. Why would you believe anything that they say? We have got to wake people up. Again, not out of fear, but so that people are prepared and that more people come to know the saving grace of Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but shall have everlasting life. That is the gospel message. And that's what I'm hoping to get out. On top of tying biblical prophecy to world events, one of the ways that you can help support this work, this ministry, is by going to realmelanieking.com. This is my merch store, but guys, this is my new world order map. I have it for men. I have it for women. I've shown it many times, but it's just showing you just like, not everything. Of course, this you wouldn't even be able to fit it. But these are all the things that they've done to bring in this new world order. It's all tying together. COVID, 5G, and now there's 6G. China's announced they have 10G. You know the technology is way past that, right? The Gates Foundation, WHO, FDA, CDC, NIH, AMA, China, okay? And Monsanto, getting into the crops, the IMF, the pharmaceutical cartel, gold-backed currency, the Fed, the Treasury, elections, landslide, mail-in ballots, okay? Civil unrest, vaccines, on and on and on. So this is a great way to just see this all laid out, share it with people. Great conversation starter as well. So that's on the front, but on the back, I have believe your eyes, not their lies. And again, many different colors for men and for women. I'll show you the men's one as well. So like I said, front and back, same map, different colors. So you can go here to realmelanieking.com and pick up some merch to help support. But then you can also just donate directly to the ministry on my website or in the links below. I have listed ways that you can support. So yeah, guys, it's getting interesting. Every single day there is something new, but it's to be expected. Keep your head up, look up, because yeah, the end is coming faster than I think most people believe. But I will see you guys on the next one.